The Decomposition Podcast, hosted by AJ and Hannah, now presents the review Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hannah, take it away.
So, today we're going to be going over the Five Nights at Freddy's film that just came out.
Yeah, and how we personally feel about that.
We're going to be going over a lot of things about how we feel about that.
Absolutely. It's just...
So to start us off, we're just giving a quick rundown of the Five Nights at Freddy's series.
Yes. So basically, Five Nights at Freddy's is like an indie horror game created back in 2014 by a man named Scott Cawthon. He was a video game developer and a writer. Basically, you're set up in a security office and you have to survive 5 nights from animatronics that are trying to kill you.
Usually 6 a.m. Like
yeah.
5 nights at 6 a.m. You just kind of go through the night, trying to survive.
It was very, very simple at first. There wasn't like much lore. There was a little bit of story, but it wasn't like a developed lore just yet. I guess we can get into a little bit of the lore.
Yeah, we can get a little bit into the lore.
Hold up. So there's too much history to get into, so instead we're just going to give you the quick and easy version. Let's go. In the 1950s, 2 men, Henry Emily and William Afton, created their own establishment called Family Fazbear's Diner. Henry Emily is the mechanic. He created the very first animatronics. Henry's creations and his daughter is the only thing that keeps him going. William Afton is the business head. He came up with the idea to have a family fun entertainment style diner. William is also a family man. He has 3 children. Michael, the oldest, who has a strong resemblance to William. Elizabeth, who loves her father's attention. And lastly, Evan, a traumatized crying child. Sadly, all 3 will meet a tragic fate. But back to what I was saying. Michael and Henry Afton didn't have a healthy relationship, and Michael soon became jealous and rageful due to Henry's success. On the day that Fazbear Diner opened, Henry's daughter, Charlotte, was locked out of the diner by a group of bullies. After coming back from a bar, William returned to the diner. He sees Charlotte outside. Instead of helping her back inside, he killed her in the alley. The diner shut down the day after it opened. Henry left the business due to his grief, and William took over. A few years have passed, and William has soon opened a new restaurant called Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. William had a thirst for blood and began a murdering spree. He ends up killing 5 more children and stuffing them into the bodies of the animatronics. The pizzeria closed down due to its awful odor. The souls of the children possessed the bodies they inhabited. William realized that animatronics were acting suspicious. William lured them to the back room to destroy them, accidentally releasing the souls of the lost children. The souls forced him back into his spring lock suit, the same suit he wore to deceive and kill the children. The spring locks malfunctioned and he was heavily injured and left for dead. Now, Mike Smith, the new hire for the night guard position, has finally entered the establishment. The animatronics try to stuff him into a suit because he oddly and strangely looks like William Afton. Whew, that was a lot. And that's not even half of the story. But we don't have time for that. So let's go back. Now knowing that, going on to the movie. Our main objective here. For me, personally, I feel I'm a film major, and I'm a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I was there since day 1, right? I was highly disappointed in the movie.
I would have to agree with you. I was highly disappointed.
Highly disappointed for so many levels, not just on the production, not just on the pre-production, not even on the post-production. It's everything as a whole. Everyone thought it was going to be based on the games. And then we watched the movie. And then
we're like, this is clearly based on the books.
The books. And then the director confirmed that the first movie was based off the first game.
Right.
Which put me in a whirl spin. Because I'm like, okay, now we're all confused. Because how are you going to say one thing?
Then you got Springtrap in there.
Yeah. That's some of the Easter eggs. Do you want to get into
Golden Freddy in there?
Everything. Like, do you want to get into like the pre-production, like everything they had going forward for them? Like,
yeah. The biggest letdown of this film was it was stacked to the 9s to succeed. They had Blumhouse, and they had Scott Cawthon, Matt Pat
on their team,
and they had freaking Matt Lillard as William Afton.
Yeah. They had everything. So I don't know how you fumbled the bag so badly with that.
Right. Because the movie was not awful. Clearly, it could have been worse than it was.
It could have been worse.
And I know a lot of people love it. But when that was what we got based on what could have been,
yes,
based on their potential,
like
I just felt like it was...
It's a letdown.
Now, let's talk about the animatronics themselves. Because I have some words for that. The suits were too overproduced.
Absolutely.
They were not dirty or torn up at all. The only one who looked even a modicum of like messed up was Foxy, and even then, Foxy looked too polished and clean.
Yes, I can give them a tiny bit saving grace because I know these animatronics have to be marketable. But if you're going to stick to the script, stick to the script. The kids were stuck in the animatronics, so
yeah,
a body withering away in an animatronic. Come on,
it's not gonna look clean.
It's not gonna be clean.
And how are you gonna use actual special effects and it still looks CGI?
They didn't use the aspect of the security cameras.
You know what most of the game was based on?
Security cameras. In the end.
Yeah. So, I think my biggest what if to close this out here is if I could change anything about the movie, I would probably remove the whole Schmidt factor. I would return that to its origins. Or at the very least, if they really wanted to do a plot twist of like, oh, this is a different Mike, this isn't supposed to be my captain.
Yeah.
Make him an Emily.
I completely agree. I want to do. I would
and
definitely
more
want to change that.
Matt Lillard.
If anything, I would definitely change the plot.
Thank you for listening to the Decomposition Podcast. This is your host, signing off.